Alright, today we're moving on to our next video in our Apple ecosystem excursion, and that is on this, the Apple Watch. Let's get to it. Alright everybody, welcome back to Gadget Conquest, and today we'll be talking about the Apple Watch. I've removed the band because I'm not going to talk about the bands. The only thing I'm going to say about the bands is because this is an Apple product, third-party accessories are basically never-ending, so I don't think it's fair to talk about the bands when you can literally get bands from anywhere from like $5 to $100. So there's basically a band for everyone, and I don't think it's fair to talk about any of the bands at all, even the included one. So I'm just going to talk about the watch itself. The watch itself is really hit or miss for me. The battery life as compared to the watch that I was using beforehand, which was the Galaxy Watch Active 2, and before that I was using the Watch Active 1. The Watch Active has amazing battery life, easily 2 days. This can get to the end of the day with no problem, but 2 days is asking for a lot, and that's without really using much of the features. If you use location-based features or the heart rate monitor and all of that nonsense more often, I'm sure it would last less than a day, which is pretty disappointing. I would have liked to see some more effort put into making the operating system more efficient, which is what Samsung did because their watches don't use Wear OS, they use Tizen. Tizen, we'll say Tizen. And this uses Apple's Watch OS? Watch OS. So they could have put more effort into making it, more efficient as far as battery life is concerned. Build quality, though, pretty freaking good. You have your, steel chassis, you've got your nice glass. Is this 2.5D technically? It's like rounded on the edges. And then the back also has, where the sensors are, is also glass. So it is very unlikely that it's going to get scratches on it, which is great. I actually haven't had that many scratches on my watch, which is awesome. The downside to the build is more a design thing. This wheel, this button wheel that has been around since the original Apple Watch is too big. It sticks out too much, so when it's on my wrist, so I wear it on this wrist like that, if I actually raise my hand, it pushes down on the button, and there are many times where it raises Siri. I'm pretty sure, yeah, you hold down the button and it raises Siri. So there are a lot of times where it raises Siri when I don't want it to. I would say, basically, if I'm standing, I'm guaranteed going to raise Siri at least once on the watch, just because, which in my opinion is poor design. Poor design. The build quality is good, but the design could have been better, honestly. This is the one with the larger display. However, the display could have been bigger. It still feels kind of tiny on my hand, and that's just kind of unfortunate, especially when you pay a premium on these things. If somebody had gotten the LTE version that is significantly more expensive for no real reason, then yeah, I don't know, it just seems kind of rough, but it does have its good points, having the built-in microphone and speaker, so you can actually hear notifications and, hear them and see them, which is very important. The vibration, the haptics, I guess, inside are amazing. Apple has always done great on haptics, and this is no exception. The screen is beautiful. Like, the display itself is actually very, very nice. It's vibrant, and Apple has always done a good job of using very high resolution textures, I guess, and none of their icons or fonts or anything seem like they're fuzzy or anything like that, which I have seen on other watches before. So this one does a really good job of that, which is awesome. However, there are a couple annoyances with it. So, and this is more on the OS level. The biggest annoyance that I found, which I don't know how much it'll affect you guys, but I use CarPlay in my car with my iPhone all the time. My car has wireless CarPlay, so it's really easy to use it, so I use it. And I use Apple Maps because, as I've told you guys before, I really enjoy the way that Siri dictates directions to me. What's weird though is sometimes I want to listen to music and I don't want the maps to be, getting in the way, so I mute it. And when it's muted, this thing instead vibrates, even if I don't want it to. It's a cool ecosystem type deal where, my phone, my car, and my watch are all working together, but I have a screen on my car that can just show me the directions. I don't need to be reminded. I wish I could turn it off. I'm pretty sure you probably can, but it's not easy. They don't make it easy. Then there's the unlocked with feature. So certain Apple devices can unlock each other in different ways. I've had the watch unlock my phone. So like I've had my phone and open my phone and it says unlocked with Apple Watch, which is cool, but it doesn't work all the time. It feels kind of random, and it doesn't have anything to do with the mask feature, the Face ID mask feature, because that actually has to fail to recognize your face. So it has to do with a built-in functionality with the watch, but I can't replicate it easily. Like it's just random. So I don't know what that is about exactly, but it kind of sucks. I wish there was more. I think what really comes down to it with Apple's entire ecosystem is I wish they had better education. I wish there was like a simple, I could just like go into my watch and I don't know, like swipe up, and then in this list at the bottom have like, I don't know, a light bulb that says tips or something like that. Just give me an easy to get to tool that can tell me everything that I can do with my watch, or an explanation as to what the heck just happened, It's weird that they have all of these features and they don't tell you about a lot of them. The speaker on the watch is decent for a watch. Actually, you know what? I'll raise that up. It's good for a watch, okay? I've heard better. The larger Samsung, not the Active, the Galaxy, has a really good speaker. This one I would say is second to that. But it's not a bad speaker by any stretch of the imagination. It is a good speaker. I don't really have much left to say. I don't use the thing for fitness because fitness apps don't work for me. They just don't. I've tried using a lot of different fitness apps. They don't work for me. Closing the circles, as people like to do, means nothing to me. Even on my Galaxy Active, they have like the heart, which is the exact same thing. It's the 3 sections and you're just trying to complete the heart. I don't care. I don't care at all. They sell the fitness portion of this hard, and I would have liked it more if they had gamified it a bit more, which is not a problem with the watch itself. It's more of an iOS issue. The only issue that I really have with the Apple Watches in general is the fact that there is only 2 models that have a always-on display. It is the 6, the Series 6, and I believe the Series 5. The SE, which came out at the same time as the Series 6, or right around the same time, it's still a brand new watch, it's just older hardware, does not have an active always-on display. And in my opinion, if there's ever a moment where you can look at your watch and not see the time, it's not properly doing its job. And the sort of the recognition of picking up and whatnot, it doesn't always work. Example, if I just have my hand like this, the screen would turn off after a while. And then if I just look at it, it's not going to turn back on. It doesn't know I'm looking at it. But I shouldn't need to raise my arm all the way up here in order to look at it. If it's right there and it's within my plane of view, I should be able to see the time. And you can't do that if you don't have an always on display. This one does have an always on display, but Apple doesn't put that as the default setting. You have to turn on the always on display. So at the end of the day, I think it's more of a me versus Apple mentality, not really a problem with the watch, but the hardware does not support it on certain models because they use LCDs instead of OLEDs, so I don't know. Honestly, buy this thing used. Get an open box deal, something like that. Don't buy it new. It's not worth the money, but at the same time, the SE doesn't have an always on display, so it is definitely not worth the money. If it doesn't have an always on display, it's useless. Don't buy it. Just don't. It is a waste of your time. Man, this is not a happy video, is it? Well, that's all I had to say about it. This is probably my least favorite part of the Apple ecosystem so far. I don't have an iPad because I don't even use the Galaxy Tab that I showed you guys before. I barely use it. I had something that I wanted to try using it for, but it didn't end up working out. So yeah, this is just the most disappointing item so far. The next one I'll be doing is the MacBook Pro with the M1 processor. That will be a much more fun video, I promise. But until then, like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't like it, leave a comment if you have questions or concerns, or you want to just tell me I'm an idiot. I'm okay with that. Have a good night, have a good week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.